see, we're gonna travel to the Cinque Terre. We're gonna see some Milan. We're gonna be on a bus, and you're gonna be bone tired. We're gonna eat dinner, probably at the hotel, almost certainly at the hotel. And then we're all gonna go to bed at like 8 o'clock, right? Unless you just want to stay up, you're gonna do that. But there's not gonna be a lot to do in the hotel that night. Then the next day is the Cinque Terre. Beautiful place. We're going to get by bus. We're going to start with, it's 5 little towns all up the coast, built sort of chock-a-block with these beautiful pastel colors, and put on your walking boots, your hiking boots, because it's lots of climbing, right? Lots of stairs. These towns are built way up on hillside. We'll be taking a train to the different towns. I don't know how many we'll be able to stop at. Wonderful place. You'll be able to get some pesto, some wonderful things to eat, things that are really just cool, and should be, hopefully, if the weather's good, you'll get great views of the Mediterranean up there, very high. Then we'll go back to our little hotel in Amelia. The next morning we get up and we're driving all the way to Monaco. Okay, so we're going to go to France the next day. Okay, isn't that great? Just say that, just rolls right into it. We're going to go to France the next day. Where should we go to? Belgium. Anyway, we'll go to Monaco. That's going to be our stopping point right there, is Monaco, the Principality of Monaco. Do some reading on Monaco. If you don't know anything about it, it's kind of not, it's not like, you know, Britain that's really well known and everything in history. So read up on it a little bit. We'll go to the castle.
It's actually going to be bigger than the last time that we were there, because they expand out into the ocean. They
built some more land.
They've had some projects where they were building football size, kind of like platform, football field size platform, and moving it out to the ocean because obviously it's such a tiny place with lots of tourism that they needed to expand. So Dr. Litton and I are actually going to see some new things this time too.
It's going to be really cool.
As well.
We'll go up to the castle. You don't really get a chance to go inside the castle. They don't do that there. But you'll be able to see the castle. You get to walk around up in the old town area. We'll get a nice little tour of the Principality. You get to see the casinos, which are really cool. All the Bentleys, the Maseratis, no joke. Okay, please don't lean on them. All right?
Yeah, we saw paparazzi up in there.
Yeah, there's the richest people in Europe hang out there, so it's going to be kind of cool. Some people even went into the casino and won a buck or two.
Yeah, Ginger did. I spoke to a friend who grew up in Monaco, and his one recommendation out of everything that you could possibly do is, since we're going to be there around lunchtime, is to take a picnic lunch and go out onto one of the piers and kind of just sit there, especially if it's good weather, and you can kind of see the whole town and the really pretty water.
It's pretty. Yeah, you see all the buildings up on the hillside, and there's the ocean front, the seaside, and the multi-million-dollar yachts are really impressive. I'm not a boat guy, but it's pretty cool. Yachts bigger than people's houses. They're just huge. But it's our chance to sort of glam it up for a day, act like we're rich. Later in the day, as we leave Monaco, we're going to stop at a perfume factory. Now, I will tell you, this is one of the most famous perfume factories in the world, especially in France. And you'll get a chance to see how they make it. They also have a shop. They'd love for you to buy some of their perfume. Some of it is fairly affordable. They have some affordable stuff. But if you have a problem with, like, perfumes and are sensitive to smell, this is not going to be a stop for you, okay? So you might think about that before you go in. There are a couple of people who are really sensitive to that. Yeah, it's overwhelming, so just give you a heads up. But we won't be there for a terribly long time. And
well, and you can sit outside, and I think there was like a soft drink place near there, yeah. So you could just have a drink and sit and wait for it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the company wants you to be a lifelong customer of their perfume, and they would love for you to start today in their gift shop. But you do learn a lot about how they make it. It's really kind of a fascinating process. So if you like fragrances, we'll be heading straight to Nice, and Nice is a gorgeous town. It's beautiful right there in the Mediterranean. It's one of the prettiest towns. I think it's just one of the prettiest, most surprising places. Hotel Trocadero is the place that we're staying. It's near the train station. It is a fine hotel. It's an okay place. There's nothing wrong with it other than the fact that it's close. It's in a neighborhood that you go a couple of blocks one way and you're going to see some skeezy, dodgy things. Go a couple of blocks the other way, everything's fine. Okay? So we'll just kind of keep our eyes and ears open, make sure everybody is okay with that. But I think we're going to be just fine on that. At least they reassure us that. Then we're going to take a tour of Nice the next day. We'll check in, we'll do it all day in Nice. Nice is a really, really interesting place. You get a chance to walk all around it, explore. We should have quite a bit of free time in Nice in the afternoon. So we're going to want to sort of stop the touring and then cut you loose and let you explore. What should you look for in Nice? Lots of really cool stuff. French milled soaps, lace, fragrances, obviously. different things like accessories. It seems to me they had a lot of scarves and things like that, and silk things and stuff.
Well, the French and their scarves.
Yeah. Really great stuff. But like I said, the French milled soap, I'm not kidding you, wonderful soap. €1 or $2 a bar, no kidding. I mean, they're really cheap things to bring back for friends and family. It's really nice.
Perfumery,
yeah.
They'll also have all over these really cheap. So
Fragonard is the name of the perfume company that we're going to.
Yeah.
Fragonard.
Oh, and there's also that one of the places we're stopping in the morning is the place where they make chocolate and candies out of roses and
oh yeah, it's a
really interesting. You might want to buy something there too because it's just so unique.
They literally make candy out of flowers and things. It's bizarre, but it's really fascinating. I mean, you've never eaten like a chocolate rose. You should once in your life maybe. It's not my thing, but it's really fascinating. It's beautiful stuff too. Then our day in Nice, we'll go back to the hotel again. Then we're off to Barcelona. We're going to go off to Barcelona, see the rest of the French Riviera, going into Barcelona, and then we'll stay at the Travel Lodge there. It's in Poblenou, which is it literally means new poor town. Okay, but it's not poor anymore. Okay, years ago it's where the poor people lived. It was the new chic poor section of town. That was 200 years ago. Okay, now it's a pretty upscale place. It's a pretty decent neighborhood. It's a typical, not high crime. Don't have to worry about that. It's close to the subway, which is really great. We'll get an orientation to the subway when we first get there, so that you'll know how to use it and everything. Now, Barcelona is one of my favorite cities. My wife is from there. I've been there like I don't know how many times, tons and tons of times. The first day, we're going to get a guided tour of Barcelona so that you know, and I like to do that first off because that way you kind of know the lay of the land. Barcelona's a big city. It's got a lot of things in it, and you do your overview of the city first, then you'll know what to do, where you want to go in your free time later on when you have it, right? So you're like, oh, I want to come back there. We will see like a La Sagrada Familia, and we won't go in. You can go in if you want to later on in your own time. We'll just look around La Sagrada Familia. Does anybody know who Gaudí is? Right? Study Gaudí a little bit. Do a little reading about Gaudí, Antonio Gaudí. This cathedral was started over 100 years ago. It's planned to be finished within the next 2 to 3 decades. Right? That is incredibly lightning fast for finishing a cathedral. But I mean, they have literally been working on it for over 100 years, and it has recently been opened for religious services and blessed by the Pope and everything. But they're still not finished with it. Yeah.
Well, the outside of it is amazing, and you'll be looking up and you'll be staring at it with your mouth hanging open. That's exactly where pickpockets are going to find you.
Yeah.
So this is one of the places where we're going to be telling you to be very careful, because Barcelona is the worst city that we're encountering on this trip for pickpockets. And I think it's worth mentioning that that would be one of the stops when they're going to hit you up the most. Okay, so just be aware of that when you're at that stop.
Dr. Burns and Chris and Beth and I have seen La Sagrada Familia many times. We will not be looking up. We will be looking around at people who don't belong to our group. Okay, so but that is the bad thing about it. I've never had anybody have their pocket picked on any tour except in Barcelona. Right? This is like PhD pickpocket school. I mean, you got to be there. It's like the Olympics of the pickpocket people. They go there.
You're okay if everything that you have that's of value to you is under a layer of clothing.
Yep. And you know what? The only people who ever got their pockets picked are people who didn't do what we told them to do, and were negligent, careless, and that's what happens when you're careless. But they're really good in Barcelona. But we'll get you clued in on some safety stuff when we get to the airport. Parc Güell is a fascinating place. It's really beautiful. It's really cool. Great pictures there. We'll spend some time there. We'll go up to Montjuïc, which is kind of interesting. The one place I really want you to focus on, well, 2 places in particular. One is Las Ramblas, which is a really cool set of streets. They're old Roman streets built on top of basically a creek bed. They go all the way down to the Mediterranean where the docks are. It's where all the really cool shops and animals and all just wonderful stuff down there. Street performers, the whole thing. It's where all the action is. The second place is the Gothic quarter, or Barrio Gótico. Okay, Chris lives over in the Barrio Gótico. Okay, his apartment is right across the street from a restaurant bar called the Four Cats, which is a place where a bunch of nobodies like Pablo Picasso and Salvador Dali used to hang out, right? So you can see the place where they used to hang out. It's kind of expensive, but this is the Gothic quarter. It's the old part of the city. And you can see the cathedral there and all the beautiful buildings. There's a Picasso museum there that has the best collection of his blue period stuff. It's really wonderful to be able to go in there. It's not very expensive at all. So we'll be getting our orientation, but the beautiful thing is that on Sunday the 12th, you have an entire free day in Barcelona, okay? The whole day is free. Now, we've got a couple of things that we are optional that we're scheduling. One is, if you want to go to Mass that morning, then a bunch of us are going to go to the Gothic Cathedral, okay? Not La Sagrada Familia. That's just always packed. People miss the Gothic Cathedral. It's a beautiful 1,000-year-old building. I mean, they just finished restoring it too. So that's a better spot to go to. Another thing some people might want to do is they might want to go shopping at some of the major department stores. They will be open a little bit later on Sundays. Anybody ever heard of Zara's? Z-A-R-A? Fantastic clothing store. Every young woman in Europe shops at Zara's. It's just great. The prices are good. The selection is wonderful.
Look at you taking over the shopping.
I'm sorry, okay.